Hey, it's JC1424 once again with another album review. Today we're going to be talking about the new 3 Days Grace album, which came out on March 9th, 2018. I was going to record this video yesterday, but I was exhausted because I had to get up early to help my girlfriend with something. And overall, I have to say that I'm not entirely disappointed by this album. They actually surprised me in how well they did. I was expecting something a little less impressive this time, but still, it's not that impressive to me. But let's go ahead and get into the first track on the album. The first track on this album is Right, Left, Wrong. This was the third single that was released before the album itself, and it was definitely my favorite one. I was honestly thinking that it was going to be my favorite track on the album, and, well, I don't know why. I went just assuming things like that. But I still do really love this song. The lyrics aren't the most impressive thing in the world, but the concept behind it is something that does intrigue me, about how you just keep moving forward to life, and even if you take a step in the wrong direction, you just get back going again. The interlude that follows the second chorus in this song is about how someone will try giving you advice, or maybe they're just being a bad influence and you can just choose to ignore it and figure things out on your own. And the profanity that's used in those verses is something that does fit well with that expression. And then, speaking of other parts of this song, there is, after the first chorus, a key change that is just perfectly executed, and I love it because it transitions back into the second chorus, and that it's just all together. This song really does fascinate me, musically satisfies me very much.
The time has come. The time has come. So here I go. Left, right, left, wrong.
The second track on this album is The Mountain, and this was the lead single to the album. I was very disappointed when this came out because it's supposed to be the song that gets your attention and prepares you for the release of the album, makes you very interested and excited to hear that it's coming out. But overall, it was just some hard-hitting guitar riffs that would be very appropriate for rock radio, of course. And not only that, but the lyrical content was just the cheapest expression of perseverance you could possibly imagine, alongside this analogy of mountain climbing or whatever. It grew on me a bit, but overall, it's still just another mediocre track to me, alongside all the other filler tracks on the album.
Every day I'm just surviving, keep climbing the mountain. Even when I feel like dying, keep climbing the mountain.
Track 3 is I Am an Outsider. This was the second single from the album. It was released right after The Mountain, of course, and it's also the title track of the album. I don't know why they didn't just title it Outsider, instead they titled I Am an Outsider, but you get the point. It's an okay song. It's got a really nice hook that stuck with me for a while, you know, the chorus and such, but it did eventually grow old on me, and I was kind of getting annoyed by having it stuck in my head, so that brought down my overall rating for this song. I like how the vocals are brought out from the guitar work and everything else in the background, but the writing was what really ruins it for me here, like always with 3 Days Grace, I suppose. It's just fourth grade lyrical content about being an outsider and separated from the rest of the people, probably in fourth grade. Emo fourth graders should not even be a thing.
I am an outsider. I don't care about the in crowd. No, better off on my own now.
Glad to be finally getting to all the songs on this album that are not singles, because the singles are ones I've listened to probably 10 times before the album even came out, and this is stuff that I'm actually listening to for the first time. Well, I've already heard before, but you get the point. It's nice to get to the fresh stuff. Track number 4 is Infra-Red, and I gotta say, this song is a jam. I really do like this one. It's not one of my big favorites off the album, but it's definitely a really good one that I appreciate being here. I love the guitar riffs that this song has. They're not new guitar riffs. They're really similar to the ones from Happiness, which was on Transit of Venus in like 2012, I think. This song is about just being infatuated with someone or excited with someone that you probably see at a party or something so much that there's kind of like a beam of light shining around them or something. And this song is written well, but at the same time, maybe it focuses on the analogy of infrared light a little too much, but for all we know, I'm just nitpicking.
But we see each other in a different light. Infrared, I know that you're burning up for me. Fire in your bloodstream.
I was driving my girlfriend Kayla to school early in the morning when this album came out, and whenever this track came on, which is number 5, Nothing to Lose But You, we both started to realize that it's a relationship-based album. That's kind of a thing with 3 Days Grace. They do write a lot of relationship-based music, and I felt like it was nothing new here. It was just kind of lyrical cliche with its whole story saying, I would risk everything all of my life because I have nothing to lose but you. Then that's kind of romantic, I guess, but duh, we've heard it many times before. And even the music seemed kind of cliche because it's guitar riffs that have been used possibly since like the first three Days Grace albums. So it didn't really impress me that much, and it felt like just another mediocre song on the album.
I got nothing to lose but you. Nothing to lose but you. I know that I can't undo the self-destruction, the damage I've done.
Ooh, boy. Track 6 is Me Against You. This is definitely my least favorite song on this album, which also applies to Rocking with Robbie, who's a guy who makes a lot of music-related content, and he did a review of this album recently. If you want to check that out, you can see it in the annotation above and subscribe if you're interested in his content like me. But the thing that throws this song off the most for me is the very petty and bitch-like attitude it has. First off, guys are not supposed to be bitches. If anything, douchebags. But the lyrical content at some points doesn't even make any sense. One of the lyrics is, if you're going to be breaking my back, I'll be breaking yours too. If your back is broken, you ain't going to be breaking someone else's back anytime soon, considering the fact you're in a wheelchair paralyzed. But another thing that I don't like about this album, and this is the final fact, is the guitar riff that works the verses is kind of disgusting to me. I don't enjoy listening to it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just annoys me. And it's very Nickelback-like. It reminds me of another song by Nickelback from Dark Horse. I don't remember the name of it. And that's rather ironic that I don't like it because I like Nickelback, and forgive me, I don't know why I have that disease. I don't know why I like Nickelback, but I do. I don't understand why I don't like it here, but maybe only Nickelback can be Nickelback. But overall, this might just be the worst 3 Days Grace song yet, in my opinion, and I definitely skip this song whenever I hear it on the album. Now that that is out of the way, we have gotten halfway through this album. That's 6 songs down, another 6 more to go. Overall, I will say that the first half of the album is not as good as the second half for me. I don't like how many songs in the first half were either mediocre or just awful, like Me Against You. I kind of hate that song. But track 7 is Love Me or Leave Me. This is a very calm and satisfying song that is, I guess, about the anxiety in relationships, wondering whether someone actually loves you or if they really want to be with you or not. And I get that it's rather repetitive with the chorus and all, but I do enjoy it anyhow. It's a really good earworm for me. And though it's filler, I think this is a good representation of what filler should be, because it passes the time well, and it's definitely not something that I would skip.
Deep down inside, tell me, will you love me and leave me forever? Will you love me and leave me forever? Will you love me and leave me forever?
Track number 8 is Strange Days. This is another average one that doesn't really impress me that much in terms of lyrical content. It's about the moment whenever people start getting confused by the world and they're like, things don't seem the way that they used to be, and it's kind of strange, I guess. And then it's from the perspective that, hey, that's just the way things are. It is what it is. And I guess acting like it's nothing, manning up. Things making you feel uncomfortable, just deal with it. But I don't like the song that much because it uses an overused guitar riff that I feel like I've heard in freaking 5 3 Days Grace songs at this point over the years. And then at some points in the chorus, the guitar chord does not seem to be mixing with the vocals very well because of how high the vocal pitch is, and it's hard to match that. And then there's like some accidentals in the interlude that I feel like are improperly placed. I feel like they could still be used, but they're just not placed properly. It's kind of like a 5 out of 10 song for me, but it's definitely not as bad as Me Against You. And maybe I'd skip it, maybe I won't. Maybe it just depends on if I'm in the mood for it.
I'm living in the strange days. I'm living in a world that I don't know. Get ready for the dark age. I'm living in the strange days, so say goodbye to the silence.
My third favorite song on this album is track number 9, Villain I'm Not. This is a song that I really do love. It has a lot of emotion expressed through it. It's about accepting the fact that you're always going to have enemies no matter what you do. You could be the best person you could possibly be, and they'll still want to fight you or destroy you or just obliterate your existence, because some people, they don't see things the way they really are, and they're kind of being ignorant, I guess, and that's what this song is mainly about. I really do like the concept behind it, and the lyrical content is a little bit better than what it usually is for the album, so it's something that I am definitely going to keep. But I like how the acoustic guitar accompanies the verses in the, I think it's the second verses after the first chorus or whatever, and the guitar pattern that's used in this song is something a little uncommon in comparison to the ones that you hear throughout the album and other 3 Days Grace albums.
Go on and give me the best that you've got. Go on and make me the villain I'm not. If it makes you feel better, I take the blame for you.
Track number 10 is Chasing the First.
Dramatic pause.
Time. I honestly am kind of humored by the way that is written to make the chorus, but this song is just another mediocre one in my opinion. The lyrical content is rather redundant and reiterated too much. It's a lot like Chalk Outline in terms of its guitar riffs, which is not something I have a problem with, but at the same time, Chalk Outline had a lot more lyrical content and something a little more meaningful behind it. This song is about wanting things to be as great as they were the first time, you know, like the first time someone gets high, if they do that. I said do. That's a horrible album review right there. But anyhow, it's something that I'm not rather impressed by, and it's musically decent overall, but I feel like so much more could have been done with this if they just expanded on the idea. Otherwise, it's just filler in my opinion.
Chasing the first time, the first high. Anything to get to where we were, like the first time, like the first time. And we're doing it till we die. Chasing the first time.
Track number 11 is The New Real. I busted out laughing whenever I first heard this song. It has the same key, melody, and rhymes in the chorus as Move Your Body by My Darkest Days. For those who do not know, My Darkest Days was the band that Matt Walsh sang for before he moved to 3 Days Grace when Adam Gontier left. And I find it so funny because it's like he's ripping off his own music. It's not the same thing, but it sounds so freaking similar. And the reason why it's so similar is because it talks about all this party crap and how some people will value the riches and the fun things in life more than the actual lives of the people that they might be partying with for all that they know off to the side. And it's not a bad song by any means, but whenever you hear the song Move Your Body and then you hear this song, it's like, I kind of want to listen to Move Your Body now because this song reminds me of that song, and that song is like a great hard rock song from back before Matt Walsh left My Darkest Days for this project.
Somebody special is a gangster wannabe. Somebody special just lives in fear. Somebody special is in love with Molly. Everyone's just trying to be somebody.
We finally got to the last song on this album, which is track 12, The Abyss. This song leaves this album off on a great note. It's just a great ending to it all, and it's not even necessarily falling into an abyss. Makes the album a little bit more memorable because this is my favorite song on the album. It is a very mysterious song. It presents that kind of feeling to it. I guess it's kind of about, you know, just entering depression and what goes on in your head and your emotions. Everything is just kind of falling into the darkness where you can't see anything. And it's also kind of fun. I just enjoy the feeling I get while listening to this because of all the sounds that they use with the soundboard in the background and the key that it is, and it reminds me a bit of Evanescence with their song Haunted. I feel like this song represents the album better than the title track did, you know, I Am an Outsider, which was track 3, and the reason why is just because it has that outsider feeling, you know, depression and just beginning to be separated from the rest of the world around you. It says that in the chorus, and I just really love the lyrical content so much as opposed to I Am an Outsider. The musicality of it is much more complex, and all the sounds that they use in the soundboard is much more fascinating. So this might just wind up being one of my favorite songs of 2018. My final score for this album is higher than what I was expecting it to be, like I said at the beginning of the video, and that is a 70%. I was expecting something more along the lines of like a 65% probably, and the 60% that I gave to Black Veil Brides is something that I was thinking only would happen to them, considering the fact that they always give us the same thing and it's always old halfway through the album. But with this one, there was more variety. There was a difference in song meaning with most of these songs. The chord progression was rather similar in many cases, but at the same time, there were some songs that stood out lyrically, and the low parts of this album were just the lyrical genericness that it happened to have. I don't go hoping that an album would be just awful from 3 Days Grace. I don't go hoping that it'll disappoint me. And I'm not entirely disappointed in this album. I'm only a little bit disappointed, which is nice. They did better than I thought they would do. So good job on 3 Days Grace part. Good job on the work that you did in 2017 making this album. Thanks for watching this album review. If you enjoyed it and appreciated my opinion, then I guess leave a like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more album reviews or something. And if you didn't like it because you don't appreciate my opinion, you can't handle that, and it triggers you, then feel free to dislike, because we're all allowed to have our opinions, and I respect that. But anyhow, we've got more album reviews on the way. We've got a Red Sun Rising album coming out on March 30th. And then we've got Breaking Benjamin with an album early in April. We've got Shinedown on the way. I think Evanescence possibly. A Perfect Circle. Owl City in the summer with an album that's probably going to be just as mediocre as a mobile orchestra. But that's beside the point. Thanks for watching once again. Check out the album reviews from Rocking with Robbie. And I think ARTV is probably going to have an album review out by this time this video has been released. So that's another one that I'm going to watch. I'll leave links to those in the description down below, as well as a playlist so you can listen to this new album and also order it from Amazon or something. But see you next time. That's that. And album review over.
Lost communication with the world outside. I fall into my own, into the abyss. Lost inside my